In Cambodia, statues depicting so-called door guardians are found. Artifacts are believed to belong from 11th century royal palace. There is more friction in the already strained New Delhi-Ottawa relations this time around. Canadian opposition leader Pierre Poilievre finds himself in hot water after cancelling the annual Parliament-held Diwali event, a tradition that goes back 23 years. The move has sparked a massive backlash and accusations of discrimination, racism and even betrayal. And the event's organizer, the Overseas Friends of India Canada, has penned a scathing letter to Poilievre. This report tells you more. To discuss, we will also have guests, but let's first have a look at the report.
Canadian opposition leader Pierre Poilievre's surprise decision to pull the plug on the 24th edition of Diwali celebrations at Parliament Hill has been met with immediate criticism from Overseas Friends of India Canada. The event is more than just a celebration. It is a rallying point for Canadians of Indian descent and an exhibition of multicultural spirit that Ottawa takes pride in. The organizers, who were not given any explanation whatsoever, argue that this move not only dims the festive spirit but also sends a troubling message to the South Asian community. Critics are labeling the cancellation a slap in the face, arguing it undermines the importance of cultural inclusivity. The event's organizer has slammed Poilievre, coupled with demanding an apology. The scathing letter, written by OFIC's president Sheikh underlines that the cancellation has left the diaspora feeling betrayed and unjustly singled out. Bhaskar's letter highlights that the Indian community is being made to feel like outsiders and not fellow Canadians. It also stresses on rising racism and discrimination thriving in Canada. The letter, which represents the will of 850,000 members of the Indo-Canadian community, goes on to finally demand an apology for the quote-unquote insensitive and discriminatory acts. As the backlash grows, it remains to be seen how this incident will affect the opposition leaders' standing within the community and the broader political landscape. For now, the leader faces an uphill battle to mend fences and restore trust. The Diwali event may be cancelled, but the conversation around inclusivity and respect is just heating up. Arjun Samar Mahindran, NDTV World.
Now, the Overseas Friends of India Canada has penned a scathing letter to Poilievre. We have with us Sheikh, the president of Overseas Friends of India Canada, and Vivek Mishra, Deputy Director of Strategic Studies Program of Visiting Fellow ORF, that is Observers Research Foundation America. Let me go over to Sheikh, who has written this letter. Thank you very much for joining us on this show. What message does Poilievre's surprise cancellation really send to minority communities in Canada?
Yeah, Rika, thank you for having me. I mean, basically, I can give you a bit of background as to this event. Back in 1998, Deepotsav, who is the member of parliament from the Conservative Party, had started this event on the Parliament Hill celebrating Diwali. So this has been going on for a number of years, and around 2016, we joined with him as he would sponsor it and we would do all the organizational part of it. So then Deepak passed away, I believe, in 2019. And then there was other members of parliament who stepped up. And more recently, it is Todd Doherty who was sponsoring it. And of course, the leader of the opposition. And this was also a non-bipartisan event where we invited members of parliament from all the different parties, you know, NDP, Liberal and Green Party and so on. So this was a multicultural event and very important event for the Hindu Canadians and the Buddhists and the Jains and the Sikhs to attend as we celebrated the Diwali on the Hill. This year, we were planning to do the same thing on October 30th, But then we received a one-line email saying, hey, the event is canceled and happy Diwali.
Uh, Mr. Bhaskar, Canada prides itself for multiculturalism. Why has Pierre Poilievre now cancelled a tradition that has been ongoing for 23 years?
Well, I can only think of the underlying tensions that are going on between India and Canada. I cannot think of anything else. We were not provided any explanation. We asked for an explanation, and none was provided. So I can only guesstimate that it is the the dispute that's going on between India and Canada. But we're Canadian, we are Hindu Canadians, and this is a Canadian organization, and we take exception to that fact. We have no, we can't really pressure anybody to take any actions. So we have nothing to do with what India does or not does, or any other nation does or not. So why are we being impacted? And I think that's what the letter outlines and shows our displeasure.
Vivek Mishra, would you say that this is just another angle to the story of India-Canada growing strained relationship?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think it's from an external viewpoint, if I can take a pick from where Shiv left, I think it's a travesty of not making an effort for an off-ramp in the India-Canada bilateral relations. I think it's extremely important that there is an off-ramp from here. And clearly there are no indications for that from the Canadian side. And most of all, you're impacting one of the most cosmopolitan, inclusive festivals of all, around the world, which is Diwali. Just days before the White House held a Diwali here in Washington, D.C. And to my mind, it's really baffling why, it's not actually baffling. I mean, the reasons are very, very, very pertinent and out there for people to see and why this has been cancelled. But an opposition leader buckling to the pressure, to the political pressure inside in Canada is, and that too in times which is calling for a celebration of inclusivity, if anything, is really reflective of the dirt that politics has sort of excavated, and it shouldn't be like that. So I think clearly the signs for an off-ramp in India-Canada bilateral relations are not good.
Well, Vivek Mishra, are conservatives snubbing Indo-Canadians to garner support from Jagmeet Singh's NDP? What do you think?
So, I mean, if you look at the internal politics, the NDP has pulled its plug on the Liberal Party, and in fact, there was a press conference several weeks back where he said that Jagmeet Singh has stopped all conversations with the Liberal Party. Meanwhile, you have had several, I think 20 odd MPs telling Justin Trudeau to step aside, which of course he's held his position and rebuffed those calls. But clearly the underlying tensions are visible to even those living as far as India of what's happening in Canada. And this might be just the last scrambled effort to save his position, because obviously you can save your position to some extent, but what will Trudeau do next year is I think pretty much clear to most of us. And because if you look at the polls, the Conservative Party is way ahead, and it is likely to hold because if there are clear indications as to how people feel in terms of rising prices, affordable housing in Canada, and so on and so forth.
Shiv Bhaskar, if I may ask you the last question, how will this play out for the Conservatives given Poilievre had accused Trudeau of playing vote bank politics and now seems to be doing the same thing?
I'm a little bit having problem hearing your voice, but could you repeat your question again?
Well, my question is, I mean, how is it going to play out for the Conservatives given that Poilievre had accused Trudeau of playing vote bank politics and now it seems he's doing the same thing?
Yeah, so I think, well, it's political, right? Everything is political games. So they're trying to, I guess, look at, which Pacific community they should play more to. And, but But I think, the conservatives have been more, how would I say, more fair or more balanced. I mean, last time when Prime Minister Harper was here, the Prime Minister Modi came here and we had a wonderful relationship going on at that time. So we almost had a trade deal done at that time. It was almost signed. And then, of course, the Justin Trudeau government, the Liberals came in, and things just totally fell apart. And his visit back in, I think, 2018, after that, things just went downhill. But you see, Canada is a trading nation, and we export 80% of what we make. Most of it goes to the US, I agree. But Canada and India has such a great opportunity to increase their trade multifolds. And that's where the focus has to be, because it'll benefit not only Canada, and it'll benefit India as well. I mean, we have a lot of uranium, and we have a lot of potash, we have a lot of other resources that are very useful to India. And then as far as India goes, they can export a lot of the software and intelligence related stuff and other things that we need. So, trade is a win-win situation. And once the cooler heads prevail, and probably I don't think it'll happen until change in government, but I could be wrong. But once a change in government is there, I think you will see this relationship go up again. And I think, we'll have the same kind of a good relationship that we had under Prime Minister Harper.
Right.
And then we will have under Pierre Poilievre. But, in the meantime, these games are being played, and we have to work with that.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on broadcast this evening. With that, a quick break on the show. When we come back, we take you to Bangladesh to talk about what's happening. Why is Yunus accusing Awami League of being a fascist party? Stay tuned.
NDTV proudly presents NDTV World Summit 2024, the India Century. I now request the Honourable
Some people think life slows down in your 50s, but I've got a few rounds left to go. And I don't want my lot to have to worry about funeral costs. Let them spend their money on nicer things. So I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period, unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover. With Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one, and you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 380 0060 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Stay close this Diwali even when you're far apart. Send money safely to your loved ones with Remitly. Remitly wishes you a happy Diwali.
This is the MSF hospital you can help build. This is the equipment you can help buy in the hospital you can help build. This is the doctor you can help train using the equipment you can help buy in the hospital you can help build. This is the medicine you can help supply, given by the doctor you can help train using the equipment you can help buy in the hospital you can help build. These are the patients you help survive, treated with the medicine you help supply, given by the doctor you help train, using the equipment you help buy in the hospital you can help build. These are the lives you help rebuild, the patients you help survive, treated with the medicine you help supply, given by the doctor you help train, using the equipment you help buy in the hospital you can help build. This is help that lasts. With regular donations, you help us provide long-term medical care. Please donate £10 a month by searching MSF Now. That's MSF Now.
When you're setting up a new nest, starting your own flock, or they just keep on growing, get the flexibility you need with VeryPay. Pay now, pay later, or pay over 3 months and pay no interest. We'll even send you helpful payment reminders. Shop the online store for fashion, home and more. VeryPay. Ways to pay that work your way.
Supermarket shoppers of Britain, we're your guardians of the groceries, champions of choice, putting the super back in supermarkets. Super affordable, super quality. That's why we're Supermarket of the Year. Make an epic saving of over £25 on this big shop compared to Asda. Now that's big on quality and always little on price.
Welcome back. Bangladesh's interim government's head, Muhammad Yunus, has levelled strong accusation against former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's Awami League, calling them a fascist party. Chief advisor to Bangladesh government Yunus called Sheikh Hasina's party fascist, asserting that it currently has no place in the country's political landscape. Yunus openly stated his opposition to the Awami League, claiming that the party controlled the people, political machinery and institutions to enhance their own interests. The interim government head then declared that no fascist party should be in existence in the democratic system. Yunus further clarified that the interim government had no immediate plans to seek former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's extradition from India following her ouster in August. There have been debates within Bangladesh over the party's future, whether it should be temporarily suspended from politics or not, and required to make reforms or be banned outright. To discuss the state of Bangladesh right now, we are joined by Ayanjit Sen, foreign policy expert. We will also be joined by Muqtadi Rashid from Bangladesh. He is a Bangladeshi journalist. Let me go over to Ayanjit first. Mr. Sen, how does one see Yunus's recent statement saying that there is no space for Awami League in Bangladesh, in the politics of Bangladesh?
Thank you for having me. Well, I think as far as Muhammad Yunus is concerned, it's definitely he has taken a hard line on Awami League, and it's in a way it's being prevented. They're being trying to prevent from being a political party in that realm of the term. They may not be able to even contest elections. That's what the plans are as far as the interim government is concerned. And more than that, I think it's more of a way that, remember Yunus, when Awami League was in power, several cases were filed against Yunus. And that's something which definitely has played a role in his decision as he has been taken, because since he's right now in command. But at the same time, I think it has been a little bit more than exaggerated way of saying that that Yunus has put it as a fascist, a party with a fascist character. Now that's something which I don't think is true to any extent. And it has been a political party just like the other political parties in Bangladesh, like BNP and the Awami League, of course, and the BNP and the Jamaat and the other parties. So it's I think it has crossed the line a little bit, definitely.
Would you say Muhammad Yunus is trying to eliminate his political adversaries?
Well, I think that's more to do with that. I think less of political adversary, more of, I think, personal grudges. It's more on that front, because anyway, he's above 80 now. And he may have some political aim or designs that he may have made while coming over as the caretaker government head. But at the same time, I think it's more of a personal vendetta that he's trying to put it out against the Awami League. And as far as his own political agenda is concerned, I don't think that's so much of a big thing, because at the end of the day, it will be one of the political parties which will be coming into power as and when elections take place. It can be BNP, or it can be Jamaat, or the Jatiya Party, which is also out there. So you don't
see there is a chance for the return of Awami League as and when the elections happen?
Well, that totally depends on how things unfold over the next few days, few months, because we don't know till when they'll be in power, number one. Number two, there are chances, people are saying, there are chances that the army may take over. That is something which is the word doing the rounds right now. But at the same time, as and when it comes, because as and when elections take place, I think all the political parties, including BNP and the Jatiya Party has not uttered a single word to do with, as far as, when there were questions raised on removal of the president of Bangladesh and all those stuff that the Yunus government has been trying to do. But from that perspective, I think as far as Awami League is concerned, it's time as it things happen. So we'll have to wait and see how things unfold, because in Bangladesh, of course, things are moving at a very fast pace. This much is 100% sure, because after the return of the army chief from the US, meeting the Pentagon and of course his visit to Canada and several other officials in the US, we have to wait and watch. It's more of a wait and watch game right now, as far as India is. It's a wait and watch.
Since you are watching the political situation very, very closely, Anjit, is there a scenario, or could there be a scenario where Awami League is banned from politics altogether?
Well, that's what exactly Yunus has been trying. So that's exactly what that's the reason why. First of all, he has termed Awami League as a party with fascist character. Then it's taking this hard line against the Awami League, of course, and more than important, I think one more very important aspect is that the Chhatro League, which is the student body of the Awami League political party, has been termed illegal as part of their anti-terrorism act of Bangladesh, and trying to weaken Awami League as much as possible, if at all and when the elections take place, so that they are not able to take part in the elections. I think that's the design that I think is being grown as far as the Yunus administration.
And does this reflect a shift in Bangladesh's democracy?
Well, to an extent, definitely yes, because right now, I don't know how democracy is there, of course, because it's just the interim government in power, that's all. But, you can call the country a democracy as and when elections take place, but it might take 6 months, it might take a year, it might take 2, who knows. But at the same time, it's very important to understand that one political party should be in power, and to do that, you have to have the elections underway. And that's the reason why the BNP and the Jatiya Party has been begging the Yunus administration to hold elections as soon as possible. So, of course, there are differences of stand and everything, but let's see as to how it unfolds as time rolls on.
We are also joined by Bangladeshi journalist Muqtadir Rashid. Muqtadir, when will Bangladesh hold elections? Many reports are suggesting that it could get postponed for as long as 2 years.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it could be like that. It could be like 1 year and a half, and then it could be for 2 years. But the people now have its own priority, and the IG government, interim government, has its own kind of priority. So what is the expectation? If you ask the people, that they will have some expectation, like the inflation is one of the biggest issue right at this point, and the law and order situation is still, this government is facing criticism for that. So if those are things, could get the more priorities, then I hope that the situation can be better. And the government has, the people has more expectation on the government, especially they want some reform starting from the judiciary, election commission, and this expectation should be met. And unless we have this, reformation, there would be a problem in future. So we expect this. In this context, yes, of course, the BNP is looking for, the election as soon as possible, as the Jamaat and other parties. But all things depend on how the government, the interim government, will lead the days ahead.
Thank you very much, Muqtadir and Anjit Sen, for joining us on the broadcast this evening and discussing Bangladesh's future. With that, a wrap on the show on India Global. Thanks for watching.
Supermarket shoppers of Britain, we're your guardians of the groceries, champions of choice, putting the super back in supermarkets. Super affordable, super quality. That's why we're Supermarket of the Year. Make an epic saving of over £25 on this big shop compared to Asda. Now that's big on quality and always little on price.
You know, the toughest part of the whole grief, I'll never forget, is when Nan turned to me one time. And she goes, John, I don't know what's happening to me.
Those weeks that he came in, with the 3 weeks that I could be his little girl again, nothing I can do will repay Marie Curie for doing that for. The amazing gift that they gave me was I was there at his last breath. He was there for my first.
In the calls, they just listen. She just said, John, just speak.
Although people don't like to talk about it, but we're getting older, it has to be done.
You start to think about, well, what would I do? Where would I want to leave things?
I will give everything back that I can to the hospice that gave me so much, not only in my name, but in Dad's name.
Who do I give my assets to?
Didn't realise you had a choice.
Give better end-of-life care to all. Get your free will guide today.
State Bank of India UK Limited wishes everyone a very happy Diwali. SBI UK, the bank with a global reach.
We all know animals have feelings. They depend on kindness, just like you and me. So imagine how they feel when they're beaten, starved, and unloved. Every minute, the RSPCA is called on to save animals in physical agony and mental torment. It's unbearable to see the pain in their eyes. We refuse to give up on them, but to rescue them from a life of fear, we urgently need animal lovers like you to donate today. Please, call 0800 121 4260 or text KIND to 84903 to give £2 a month to the RSPCA. Your gift will help fund more life-saving rescues, more emergency treatment, and more gentle rehabilitation. Every month, you'll be helping to keep animals free from pain and sadness, so they can find the comfort and joy they deserve. Right now, across the country, thousands are suffering deliberate harm. But together, we can show animals what kindness feels like. Together, we can rescue them. So please, call 0800 121 4260, text KIND to 84903, or visit our website to start your monthly donation today. Thank you.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
India-China border disengagement is complete, say army sources. Regular patrols to resume soon, and soldiers on both sides to exchange sweets tomorrow on the occasion of Diwali. After the Prime Minister's attack against opposition over Ayushman Bharat health scheme, Delhi BJP MPs file a writ petition in the High Court against the AAP government for not implementing the health scheme. Filing of nominations has ended in Maharashtra, but now a rebel headache for the alliances. The Congress especially sees several rebel candidates standing against Shiv Sena UBT candidates, efforts on to placate them.
large-scale preparations for the 8th edition of the Deepotsav in Ayodhya. This is the first Deepotsav being celebrated in Ayodhya after the consecration ceremony of the Ram temple earlier this year. Renika Swamy murder accused Kannada actor Darshan is finally out of jail. He got released from Bellary prison after Karnataka High Court granted him health leave for 6 weeks. A very good evening, viewers of NDTV. Ayodhya is celebrating its first Deepotsav post the consecration of Ram temple. This year's celebration is bigger and more environment-friendly. The 8th edition of celebrations saw a world record with 28 lakh diyas along the Saryu River. The decorations at the Ram temple has been special as well. In fact, there have been multiple decorations at the entrance in order to ensure that it actually signifies what Ayodhya stands up for. And as a global spectacle is being created in Ayodhya, remember, the preparations began several weeks ago. Over 30,000 volunteers were mobilized who arranged diyas across 55 ghats along the Saryu River. More than 2,000 supervisors, coordinators and ghat managers were overseeing this effort. Let's bring in the guests as we continue to play those visuals. Spectacular visuals coming in from Ayodhya. Shantanu Gupta is the author of Monk, who became Chief Minister, and Badri Narayan is political analyst. Shantanu, you know, you and I were there when the consecration ceremony was happening in Ayodhya. The entire atmosphere was euphoric, and something that we are witnessing, of course, from a distance today is something that was expected, because this is a very special Diwali.
I think you're right, Maria. And in fact, Badriji was with us, I remember.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That was an amazing day. I still remember and keep telling a lot of people, you, me, Amish, and a lot of us were watching that in the NDTV, that makeshift tent. And when the Ram Lala's Murti was shown to all of us on the screen, right, we were like, oh my God, we are watching it. This is happening in our lifetime. We all must have done hundreds and hundreds of shows on the Ram Mandir case and different attributes attached to the case. And we were watching it live. And this is the first Diwali which is happening when Ram temple is there, right? I think very few moments in life when you think that, okay, you are testimony to this and you are part of this, you are present there in body and skin. So I know it's a really big moment. And the Ayodhya, which was kind of God-forsaken, this was, okay, oh, don't go to Ayodhya before 2017, there'll be some curfew, oh, High Court, the hearing is today. And today, that Ayodhya is making Guinness Book of World Record year after year. And that's how governments can change the fate of a city, fate of a state, and fate of a nation. Yeah,
Yes.
so it's a really momentous moment.
Yes, absolutely. It's very special today, Badri Narayan. Of course, you were also there during those days when we were covering the consecration ceremony from Ground Zero. But the largest messaging which is attached to Deepotsav when it began 8 years ago. Of course, today is the 8th anniversary of that Deepotsav. But Yogi Adityanath has made it almost like his personal affair, ensuring the scale and the grandeur year after year.
Maria, see, this is the invention of Ayodhya, reinvention of Ayodhya. Ayodhya is mentioned in our Valmiki Ramayana, which is a city of the deep, where lakhs of deep used to twinkle. So that it's a one-way reinvention of Ayodhya in modern time. And you know, this is I used to say that this neoliberal time, the time of religious tourism, the time of tourism. And in India, we have reinvented it as a religious tourism. In the West, it is a castle tourism, it is historical tourism. Here, it is a religious tourism. And you know, Ayodhya is deriving day by day. The numbers are increasing of the visitors here. If you do any study that after the inauguration of the Ram Mandir, how much every day the turnout of the visitors, how it's increasing, and so it's tremendous. So in one way, it's not only giving the message. With message, it's also creating content. And content is what the content is that Ayodhya is emerging as a new as a big mega religious centers, religious tourist centers in Uttar Pradesh, and that will give hike of the religious economy of Uttar Pradesh also. So for the economic development of Uttar Pradesh, it is very important. Social development also, because it's going to be affect the entire area. So in that way, Ayodhya has a much meaning, and you know the masses, you know the any memory, any religious tourism, if you add with the moments, and this deep is a moment, then it become more and more influential. It's attractive. So Deepotsav is one of the events and the moment, and you know Yogi Adityanath and the people who are involved in that may have planned so many events like that around Ayodhya. And Ayodhya is deriving, we have heard that the many religious centers of other states, people are coming more and more here, and they are not going there also. So it's in one way, it's emerging as an epicenter of religious tourism in India.
Yes, absolutely. And religious tourism that we are seeing happen in multiple temple towns across the country, you know, be it Varanasi or even the Mahakal temple in Ujjain, seeing the footfalls increase. So that's a new form of economy which is emerging. But just look at those visuals come in from there, Shantanu. When was the last time you visited Ayodhya?
I think that was the last time. In between, I was going to Gorakhpur to meet Honorable Chief Minister once, so I dropped in for a short while. But you're right, just see those visuals, and I'm going Ayodhya 2-3 times a year from last 10 years. And before 2017, as I keep telling, those lanes, those by-lanes, it was a god-forsaken town, and also kind of a dreaded town. Ki yahan to danga ho jayega, yahan to abhi High Court ka verdict aane wala hai. And now just see that how it turned on its top. And as Badriji was saying, see, there are 100+ towns which run on religious economy. Tirupati itself is 1,000-1,500 crore rupees economy. Sridi is a big economy. Mumbai, multiple temples, a big economy. And because of an artificial case, Ayodhya was taken away from that economy. Not only Ayodhya, Eastern UP, multiple other centers, Buddhist centers are getting flourished now, right? You know, these diyas, they're 28 lakhs almost, right? There is a separate Mati board which is being constructed. And multiple Kumars, multiple potters are getting revenue out of that. All your Chota Dharmshala, big hotels are taking land there. All your pujaris are earning money. All the people who run religious samagris like this, they are earning money. It's like a whole new economy that's coming up in Ayodhya, which Ayodhya was artificially stopped. For Ayodhya, it was artificially stopped. And as you rightly said, Maria, the same is happening in Banaras, where the tourism is becoming 10 times, and Ujjain, multiple other religious places. So in last 10 years, the way the religious economy, the religious tourism economy is unfurled, that's also unprecedented and should be noted clearly. Yeah.
Okay, so Badrinaran, let's talk about the legacy of Yogi Adityanath also, because, you know, this is the 8th year we are seeing this spectacle. And, you know, Yogi Adityanath arrived, he did puja in Ayodhya. It's a special one for him as well. He's in the middle of an elections. The bypolls are very critical for him, as just as it is for all other players as well. But, you know, for him to make it almost like a personal movement of sorts in ensuring cleanup of the city, in ensuring that the ghats are refurbished and taken the form that it has.
Yeah, Maria, actually, any chief minister of BJP would have very much, would have given much concentration on Ayodhya, because Ayodhya is central of their politics. But what is new with the Yogi Adityanath? Because Yogi Adityanath is not only a statesman, he is also a religious saint, and he understands the meaning of the religious space. And since he is very much involved in entire ritual practices of the Hindu religion and Guru Nanak, etc. So he understands how to make the religious space more and more vibrant. And that's why this Deepotsav, the concept of Deepotsav with Ram, because Ram memory is very much linked with the Deepotsav. Ram returned to Ayodhya is linked with the Deepotsav. Ram birth is linked with the